Hey, this is Glenn,
And this is Mitchell.
and this is 5 Minutes Till Launch. This week we'll be talking about Deadly Premonition Origins on the Switch. This was a re-release of Deadly Premonitions, which I believe originally released on the Xbox 360. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, a few years ago. Um, Man, this game. It's very charming, but it's not a good game. It's very amusing, um, but it's bad. It definitely is one of those games that makes you question. Like even though a game is bad, is it like it can still be amusing.
It can still be worth playing.
Yeah, it's still entertaining in its own right. Like I would say, well maybe maybe not as comparative, but Sonic 06, can kind of be viewed in that same way of like it's so terrible, but at the same time you want to continue on to see how bad does it really get.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, it's um, man, the animations, the cutscenes, everything is so stiff and so like clobbled together. But the story, I mean, the story itself is fine. You play as York, and you're going around this Twin Peaks inspired town, and you're trying to solve like an overall mystery, and that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty entertaining in its own right. But yeah, just the way it's presented and delivered is so hilarious. I don't know how intentional it was.
Yeah, it definitely has like a lot of charm. Basically
Right.
it's the reason you'd play it is solely based on charm. It has unimpressive gameplay from
Oh yeah.
all that I've seen, mostly just driving around and doing weird little shooting parts that could easily not be in the game. But it's just you sit there and you're in awe at just some of
You
the
truly are.
ridiculous things that happen. It's like, man, this is a mess.
Somebody made this.
Yeah, somebody sat down and thought,
A team came together and thought this was okay to release.
like,
But yeah, you mentioned the shooting sections. You can tell they were obviously trying to go after like Resident Evil 4. I think
mm-hmm.
it's the closest you can compare it to. It's like a really awful Resident Evil 4. And it just does not play good at all. Uh, One thing I should mention is that the game has like stamina and hunger and stuff. And it's like, I had no idea about that. The game doesn't explain that at all. Like, in the main menu, you see icons that vaguely resemble something like that, but you're like, what is that? Just like everything else in the game, what is that? But I really wish the game would have indicated that more, because that's like something, once I figured that out, it kind of made me like stressed out a little bit, because it's like, oh, I have to worry about my stamina, I have to worry about my how tired York is.
How stinky you are.
That's what's one of the things. Yep. Um, but then once you get halfway through the game, which the game's only like 15 hours or so long, um, then you start to realize, oh, you really don't need to worry too much about that stuff. I think they may have made it a little bit easier in this version. Like I think some of the items like replenish more.
Oh, I have no idea.
I could be wrong on that. But yeah, the Switch the Switch port is pretty. Um, I've heard it's the best one out of all of them, but it doesn't run good.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they got it to work a little better than before.
Yeah, the game really doesn't need an open world. I'm looking forward to the second game. The second game comes out like in a month or so, and it'll be interesting to compare the two.
All right, and we have liftoff. That's all the time that we have for today, and
That's it.
we'll see you in the next one.